When the transcript of death and illness for the slave comes to the Elohim of death, he says, "My creator, when shall I take the soul of the slave? In what form shall I lift it? El may he be exalted, says, O Elohim of death. This is the knowledge of the unseen. None have knowledge of it except me. But I shall inform you of the arrival of his time, and make signs for you that you will overstand. The Anunnaki who is in charge of their breaths and deeds will come to you and say, the breath of so and so is finished. The one who is in charge of his provisions and deeds will say, his provisions are finished and his deeds are well. If he is amongst the happy, his scroll carried by the Anunnaki Elohim of death will have on it his name with a line of gold light around it. If he is amongst the wretched, you will see around it a red line. The knowledge of that is not complete for the Anunnaki. And whom of death until a leaf falls on him from the tree which is below the throne. In the name of the one about to page 10110. Die is written on the leaf. Then the Anunnaki of death takes his spirit. Marduk will descend with a scroll to the Anunnaki Elohim of death from Anu, Elowin, Elowin, El, most glorified and exalted. And on it is written the name of the one whose spirit he has commanded to be taken, the place in which the spirit is to be taken, and the cause of it being taken. 2 drops will fall from under the throne on the name of its owner. One is pink and the other green. If a pink drop falls on the name, he knows that he is wretched and malevolent. If a green drop falls on the name, he knows that he is happy and benevolent. And this is what he taught of benevolence and malevolence. Of the benevolent, that is the agreeable ones. And you I can speak, but not of malevolence, disagreeable, the evil ones. For what is evil but good, tortured by its own hunger and thirst? Verily, when good is hungry, it seeks food even in dark caves, and when it thirsts, it drinks even of dead waters. You are benevolent when you are one with yourself. Yet when you are not one with yourself, you are not malevolent. For a divided house is not a den of thieves. It is only a divided house. And a ship without rudders may wander aimlessly amongst perilous isles, yet sink not to the bottom. You are benevolent when you strive to give to yourself, yet you are not malevolent when you seek gain for yourself. For when you strive for gain, you are but a root that clings to the planet Earth and sucks at her. The fruit cannot say to the root, be like me, ripe and full, ever giving of your abundance. For the fruit giving is a need, and receiving is a need to be the root. Whoa. You are benevolent when you are fully awake in your speech. You are not malevolent when you sleep while your tongue staggers without purpose. And even stumbled speech may strengthen a weak tongue. You are good when you walk to your goal firmly and with bold steps. You are good when you walk to your goal firmly and with bold steps. Yet you are malevolent when you go thither, limping. Even those who limp go not backwards. But you who are strong and swift see that you do not limp before the lame, deeming it kindness. You are benevolent in countless ways, and you are the benevolent when you are not benevolent. You are only loitering and sluggard pity that the stages cannot teach swiftness to the turtle. In your longing for your giant self lies your goodness, and that longing is in all of you. But in some of you, that longing is a torrent rushing with might in the sea, carrying the secrets of the hillsides and the songs of the forest. And in others, it is a flat stream that looses itself in angles and bends and lingers before it reaches the shore. But let not him who longs much say to him longs little. Wherefore are you slow at halting for the truly benevolent? Ask not the naked, where is your garment? 7 minutes into the stream. Tablet 14. In our image and after our likeness. Lo, and we have mercy upon your kind. We, the Anunnaki, said amongst ourselves, now let's breed by cloning people that are Homo sapiens of this Adama, planet Earth, the Adamites, looking just like ourselves, the Anunnakis, having 9 ether hair and coating their genes in the melanin that they may act like ourselves with right knowledge. We will give them rulership over the fish of the sea, all reptilians and birds of the skies, and all gargoyles, and over all the non-speaking mammals, beasts of the fields, and all the creeping things that creep upon the planet Earth. Take my throat chakra. And the Anunnaki, protect them. Got a nerve. And the Anunnaki made to evolve all domestic and living animals that appeared on the planet Earth to breed from themselves. And all the creeping things upon the planet Earth breed from themselves. And the Anunnaki saw the things this way were agreeable. And the Anunnakis Elohim Kaukal El, also known as Watmuan and Uriel, son of Azrael, and Rafiki Al, then said, here you have been given every herb with a yielding seed which is on the surface of the whole planet Earth, and every tree which yields fruit and has its own seed to reproduce all of his. This is for your food. The Anunnaki New Day Mood, 3:29 p.m. on my alarm. Are you looking for steady support? The Anunnaki New Demud, who is also called Enki, one appointed by El Elon for the breeding from the Anunnaki Ninti, daughter of Anu. Procreated people Homo sapiens first, called Nubians, then became Nubians of the Adamites from the Homo erectus, which had 6 ether hair, and the original Anunnaki with 9 ether hair, to look like herself, using her own divine seed, Ninti, giving Nubians 9 ether, and acting like herself. The Anunnaki procreated them into one they called Adam, who had 8 ether, and Nekeba, who had 9 ether. This is how she, Ninti, procreated them of her own seed. And the Anunnaki blessed them, and the Anunnaki said to them, so that they would not have to be moved to Wafili, the Manodapa, now called Zimbabwe, to work as slaves in the gold mines until they die. Confirmation. Breed children and multiply, and refill the planet Earth and keep it under control, and rule over the fish of the seas and the birds of the skies, and over all that live and swim on the planet Earth. 3:31 p.m. on my alarm. Are you ready to experiment with new emotions? Every living animal of the planet Earth, to every bird of the skies, and to everything that swims on the planet Earth, in which there is a living soul, every green vegetation is for food. This supreme being is being appointed vegetarian. He is not to eat of the blood of its creatures, but to maintain its olive hue by the chlorophyll of the herbs that are most abundant of the earth and beneath the earth. Being born copper red, to purify into olive green as you green ones. And this happened. The Anunnaki saw all of this, the things that were fashioned, and here it was all very agreeable for them. It was dusk period, and the new earth day of 7,000 years was over. So the skies and the planet Earth were prepared, and all the living beings of both of them. Figure 25, Evolution of Mankind, page 112. Figure 26, genus Homo, page 113. Figure 27, Homo erectus, 114 page. Homo sapien, 115 page. Figure 28. Page 116. The seventh day, the Anunnaki Enki, who was also called Nu Enki, who's also called Nu Dimud, finished his duty which he had done, and he desisted. He kept the Sabbath, and he desisted in the seventh day from all his duties which he had done. The Anunnaki Enki blessed the seventh day, and he declared it holy, because it is because in it he desisted from all of his duties which the Anunnaki had done. These Anunnaki are the genealogy of the skies from the planet Ritz and the galaxy Elohim, the planet of a planet of another galaxy, and the planet Earth, also called Kai. When they were reconstructing and procreating in the day that the Anunnaki made the planet Earth and made its skies reappear, they planted every shrub in the parts of the outer field outside the enclosed garden before they had actually grown, and every herb before it had sprouted seeds, because Yahweh, who is the head of Yahweh of the Elohim and the Anunnaki, had not made it rain upon the planet Earth. An Adamite Homo sapien was not there yet to be a slave and work as miners of the ground. So a mist of water clouds ascended up from the planet Earth in order to irrigate as rain the whole surface of the ground where the seeds had been planted. And Yahuwah of the Elohim shaped Adam from Ninti's clot of granulated blood from the people of the ground. They gave Kadmon the breath of divine life, and Adam was born a spirit. And Yahuwah of the Elohim ordered Arazu to build the foundation of the garden. The Ashnan, who came from the school of the peacock under Marduk, for the planting of the special enclosed garden of delight and pleasure. Oh, I want a peacock now. The other Libra, go Libra. Cardi. The peacock under Marduk, the planting of the special enclosed garden of delight and pleasure. Over there he placed Adam, whom was cloned. From the same ground did the Yahuwah of the Elohim grow every tree and flower that was beautiful to the sight, and the vegetation that was Toby, good for food. A special tree of hallucinating herbs was in the center of the enclosed garden, under which is agreeable in the sight of Yahuwah, that which is agreeable in the sight of Yahuwah, given one his own willpower. The Anunnaki said amongst themselves, indeed, we have made them in the constellation, and we have beautified them for the eye of the beholders. We have guarded it from all of the accursed reptilian serpents, the Luciferians, the Nestas, the people who are from the deep, those jinns who disobeyed the laws of Elohim. For human beings, he was of the Kasparun. Yet he has stolen from it, and we curse Zuin as a visible flame, and thrown upon firm mountains. We caused to grow in it everything well measured, and we have made for you therein means of substance, and for every other creature whom you are not the sustainer. There is nothing except what is with us, Anunnaki, which are its treasures. Page 117. And we do not send the winds fertilizing. Then we send down water from the sky. So we gave it unto you to drink of it. And it is not you that is its stores. Verily, only we and none of cause life and cause death. We are the only hearers, and indeed we know those eager to be foremost amongst you. We know those who like to lag behind. Verily, Elo, Elo, your Rob, who is the sustainer, he will gather them together. Verily, he is El Hakum, and the wise one, Al Alun, and or the one who knows. And indeed, we Anunnakis create inosites of black mud, created in inosites of black mud, fashioned and shaped. The jinns were created long before Adam, a fire of Samuam or Sum, from which the name Samael, son of Shakar comes from. To the other Anunnaki rulers, verily I am going to create human tissue of the essence of black mud, fashioned into shapes of the very dust of the Adamah ground. They, Nataz, wanted to the remains of the black mud, which was kept safe in a small 4x4 black box, which is now the Kaaba of Arabia. It is the Anunnaki who he assigned you a period of time to live on earth, created all of you from clay, then only by you still harbor suspicions, and its termination is known. So when I have completed him and breathed into him of my own, of my own soul, then you all are to fall down and prostrate before him. O Enosites, worship your sustainer who created you and those beings before you. Happily you are guided. You may guard yourself against disagreeableness, who made the earth a resting place for you, thereby produce fruits for your sustenance. The sky was a firm structure, and Elhum caused the water to descend from heaven. Set you not therefore equals for him, while you already know. Who created you looking like herself, Ninti? Who created you looking like herself, Ninti, and acting like herself? Ninti, a female Anunnaki and controller of the Shimti laboratories. Put on your shield of protection against the deceivers. Many have gone into the world, and yet still many are not yet born. Ninti is the mother of your procreation. Before Zeus, women were recognized as the mother deities. We have males born of females, yet we will resurrect them. All of the great prophets came through the canal of a female. Only in the reptile family do you find male transforming to female, and female transforming to male by nature's call. Associate not with the man that respects not the woman, for even that man was conceived by the woman, the mother, simply the matter or matter. She reflects the light of a properly lit sun in wisdom. Thank you. Page 118. She has 4 periods as the 4 phases of the moon. The moon that you see has no light of its own, but it has mass, and it does exist in the purest state, darkness before chaos. Thus her weakness comes from the man. darkness is pure, and the moon sits in darkness as an assistant to the earth, controlling her tides, as the moon, rightly called Luna, has an effect on the mental state of those who lean towards her, the lunatic. Let not the sensitivity or the apparent weakness of the woman alter your state of consciousness. Stay in control. If the moon ceases to pull upon the tides of this planet, it would overheat as the evening comes and be no more. 3:45 p.m. on my alarm. Are you relying on habit? If a man ceases to respond to the whims of a woman or over responds to the emotional changes of a woman, he too will overheat, transform into a lunatic, and be no more. Gaia is her name. She has been worshipped, but they agreeable or disagreeable. Boom, boom, lama, buto, ayas, ajas, adaiti, hina, kuchilat, atar, mayat, nakia, septu, amaterasu, asit, atis, amphit, trite, et nitis, andarta, Aranirat. I need the Nubians to help me. Special shout outs to Donna Coleon. She is the group representative of Papara here. Mother deities in all tongues and places. El Sabut. And this is how this event should be commemorated. The Sabbath, begins 19 minutes before the sun appears to set. Evening worship shadow hours on Friday and ends 19 minutes after the sun appears to have set. Shadow hours on Sunday. The Sabbath is the seventh day of the week and was sanctified by the Anunnaki Elohim. The Sabbath is symbolic of the day that the Elohim desisted in their cloning process of Homo erectus to Homo sapien, a process which took 600 years in the place called Kodesh, known as Jerusalem today, or in Arabic, the holy, meaning holy. Kodos. The cloning was done by the Anunnaki Elohim. This cloning process came about through a feat of genetic engineering and embryo implant techniques. You were on a long process of evolution. However, the Anunnaki jumped in and sped up your evolutionary process, creating you sooner than you would have evolved on your own. The Anunnaki didn't intervene on all of the Homo erectus evolution, just on a selected group. And on the seventh day, the Elohim Anunnaki Enki, who is also finished his duty which he has done, and he desisted and kept the Sabbath in the seventh day from all his duties which he had done. And the Elohim Enki blessed the seventh day. Page 119. Declared it holy, because it is he desisted from all his duties which he and the Elohim had done. preparation for the holy Sabbath. The mother ignites a set of three white candles 19 minutes before shadow hours on Friday and are left to burn continuously. The candles rest in the candle holder on a small table which has been covered with a white tablecloth and is only used on the Sabbath. The white is symbolic of all purity of the heavens and earth. Each candle should be white and unscented, signifying purity, positioned in the shape of a triangle facing east and placed in the center of the table on the Sabbath cloth. Original, Originally a seven candle menorah was used for the 6 days of the procreation of the day of desiring. The devil is obsessed with your new beginning. As each candle is lit, your thoughts should reflect on the meaning of each candle. The three white candles are lit by a smaller candle. The first candle, the first candle represents procreation, the spiritual life. Therefore, when lighting this first candle, your thoughts should focus on the remembrance of Elohim, Elohim El, the Most High, Anu, the Heavenly One. The second candle represents the world you live in today. Thus, when this candle is lit, your thoughts should reflect on this. The third candle, the candle is symbolic of a state yet that is yet to come, life in this, in the life in the next world. The seventh candlestick, menorah, represents the 6 days of procreation, which begin with "Let there be light" and does the celebration of procreation with the igniting of lights. The seven menorahs and Mecca represents the seven candlestick menorah. In Revelation chapter 1, John sees seven candlesticks of golden separated on one stand. The fact that there are seven candlesticks means completeness. In the Hebrew law, the seven golden candlesticks are called the menorah. In the Arabic language, this word is menorah, which means lighthouse, pillars, or place where the fire is lit, and comes from the root word nawara, meaning to light, illuminate, filled with light. The word menorah is also used for the minaret, the structure of a masjid from which the caller sounds the call of worship in Islam. The middle candle of the menorah is used to light all the other candles and is also symbolic of these times you are living in. Since the 1990s AD, the third candle has been lit, leaving 2 years left before the beginning of the sun sign. So 1992 begin the beginning of the sun sign cycle. The rituals during the Sabbath, there are many rituals that are practiced: the lighting of the candles, spiritual readings, the Sabbath meal, and the blessings which are received in celebrating this special day. Page 120. Members of the Holy Tabernacle Ministry should practice them to reinstall discipline. Most of the prayers that will be recited will be from the Book of Light. Many people think that Friday is the Sabbath. However, it is not. Friday is the day of preparation for the Sabbath. The Sabbath is as follows. Before stepping into the bathtub, you must take the following intentions. I make intentions to take a bath for the Sabbath day, to take away impurity. I seek refuge in the Most High from Satan, the cursed. And in the name of the Most High, the Yielder, the most merciful, in the name of the Most High, and all gratitude is due to the Most High. I'm the way of life, the truth. Then step into the bathtub, which is filled with water, and sit down to soak and wash your body, making sure the water reaches all of the hidden places, such as the buttocks, behind the knees, navel, etc. Also, wash your mouth and your face. The water should come above the waist. After this is done, let the water out of the tub and turn on the water from the shower and proceed to wash the body again. Women and men should shave the hair from their armpits. Hair left underneath the arm is a very unsanctuary, sanitary, and a haven for bacteria and odors. Also, public hair must be cut. However, all the hairs should not be removed. It can be clipped in 1/4 of an inch. Because the public hair was put there to protect the vagina from getting germs and bacteria, if it's not covered with hair, the vagina can get infected. This is the same for the males. The dinner table should be set and all Sabbath articles should be in place. The home should be comfortable and look festive as if you were expecting guests. Before igniting the Sabbath light, the following preparations are made. The table is set and spread with a white tablecloth. 3 Sabbath candles are set up in the middle of the tables on the Sabbath cloth in a triangular shape facing in an eastward direction. For the meal, 2 specially embroidered cloth napkins are covered the 2 loaves of challah and challah bread with a specially designed challah bread cloth. A glass of wine is placed at the head of the table. Page 121. The 3 candles are placed in the center of the table on a white tablecloth specifically used for the Sabbath. This white tablecloth symbolizes all purity of the 2 places up there in the sky and the purity of the planet Earth. The mother, the wife of the household, lights the 3 candles at the beginning of the Sabbath, 19 minutes before the shadow hour, being that light is life, and the mother is really the life of the whole family. She lights the candles. However, there is no place in the scriptures that states that the mother must light the candles. If the mother is unclean, the oldest daughter over 13 years old must recite. If both are unclean, it can be done by the father or the son. The mother lighting the candles is a preferred practice because the mother is usually the maintainer of the house. The next eldest woman is the house in the household or oldest daughter may light the candle if the mother is not available. Regardless to whether or not any of these people are available, the candles must still be lit before the shadow hours. If they are not, you will be violating the laws of not lighting a fire on the Sabbath. The mother proceeds to light the candles as follows. First, she shadows her eyes with her left hand, finding the fingers apart, spreading the fingers apart so that she can see. Then she lights the candles with her right hand. She then outreach stretches her hands with the palms facing outward to shield herself from the flames of the candles and silently recites the following blessing and prayer before she lights the candles. 3:59 p.m. on my alarm. Practice your feelings with the group. Soon, Mother's Day's tomorrow. These are the transliterations so that you may learn to say them easier and faster. I'm gonna skip that part. Yeah, and I gotta hear it. It's like speaking in tongues and it's very sacred. So I'm gonna pass that one and read it in English. O Heavenly One and the Elohim and attributes. O light of the light, you have been enlightened with the light. The light is in the light of your light, O light. You created the sun from the light of the boundless universes. When the Sabbath is going out on Saturday, 19 minutes before the shadow hour, the same prayer is recited. The woman lights the candle first in order to satisfy the requirement that the prayer be recited before the act. She shadows her eyes not to see the light. The benediction is considered to have happened before the act of lighting the candles. Though the light of the candles is permitted of festivals, the same procedure is followed. Pisces, sharp focus prepares you for living your best life. Pisces. Page 122. To avoid differentiation from the regular Sabbath procedure, note the candlestick used in igniting of the Sabbath candles should not be removed from the table or touched during the Sabbath. Candles and cloth must be of the Holy Tabernacle Ministries. Variations of the candle lighting ceremony. For single men, he prepares for the Sabbath on Friday. He continues with his day as he would if he had a family. When it is time to light the Sabbath candle, he would light his Sabbath candle just as the mother of the house would. Then he would bless his household by tapping the mezuzah, a parchment put into a case and attached to the doorpost, 3 times and reciting a prayer. And then he would have his Sabbath evening meal. For the couple would observe the Sabbath as the family would. However, before the Sabbath meal, instead of the blessings of the children, he would go straight into the blessings for the wife and continue on from there. If the Sabbath has already come in and you neglectfully didn't light the candles, it is too late. Do not light the candles. Do not ignite any flames or any kind of open fire. The father stands at the head of the dinner table, the son stands at the right of him, and the daughter stands to the left of him. The wife stands at the opposite end of the table, and the visitors in between them. After igniting the Sabbath light, which is immediately before the sanctified drinking of wine, the father places his right hand on the head of his son, and keeping his hand on the head of his son, he says the blessings for the son. If he has more than one son, the oldest is nearest to him on the right. May the Most High make thee like Ishmael, Isaac, and Median. May the Sustainer bless thee and keep thee, and may the Sustainer cause his countenance to shine upon thee, and be gracious unto thee. And may the Sustainer lift up his countenance towards thee and give thee peace. keeping his hand on his head of, of his son, excuse me. He places his hand on the head of his daughter. And he does the same for his daughter as he did for his son. Where are you, brother? Where are you, baby boy? Hot boy? The oldest daughter, if there is more than one, sits nearest to him on his left. May the Most High make thee like Washimath, Fatima, and Zipporah. May the Sustainer bless thee and keep thee. May the Sustainer cause his countenance to shine upon thee and be gracious unto thee. May the Sustainer lift up his countenance towards thee and give thee peace. The father then says the blessings to the wife, and she returns his salutations. To the mother of the house, the husband recites the following before the sanctified drinking of the wine. May the Most High make thee like Sarah, Hagar, and Keturah. And may the Sustainer bless thee and keep thee. And may the Sustainer cause his countenance to shine upon thee and be gracious unto thee. And may the Sustainer lift up his countenance towards thee and give thee peace. The son of the Sabbath is saying to welcome in the Sabbath and recite by everyone before the sanctified drinking of the wine. Call 7 p.m. on my alarm. Put pleasure first. This is my pleasure. This is definitely my pleasure. In remembrance of Grandmaster. The Sabbath song. May my deeds be accepted. Peace be upon you and your two Elohim. Peace be upon you and your two Elohim. Peace be upon you, the chosen of El Yahweh, Yahuwah. Peace be upon you and your two Elohim. Peace be upon you and your two Elohim. Peace be upon you, perfect of Elohua. After reciting the prayer, the mother of the house and everyone sings the song while welcoming the Sabbath. The head of the household raises the cup of wine and performs the sanctification. And the sanctification of drinking non-alcoholic grape wine from the youth for the youth, and kosher wine for the adults. The father takes a sip of the non-alcoholic wine, then passes it to his right, so that everyone may take a sip. To his son, and around to the relatives or visitors, to the wife, and then back to the daughter. The wine is symbolic of Kadmon's seed. If wine is not available, this verse is recited over the challah bread. Blessed art thou, the Most High, King of the boundless universe, who brings forth bread from the earth and manna from the sky. And this is the salutation for the supplication of the wine. And then the challah bread is broken and passed around, and everyone sits down to eat. 2 loaves of bread are used because the Creator gave 2 portions of manna, a sweet, gummy juice, to the children of the Israel for the Sabbath, and being being two beings, Adam and Eve, were born. The bread is considered the staff of life. Grace before the meal, blessing after washing of hands for the meal. And in the olden days, they had a bowl and a pitcher of hot water on the stand next to the table. At the mother's end of the table, and each member had their own hand cloth. The mother passes the pitcher around from the daughter on her right and on around to the father and on the son in order to wash their hands. This is a symbol that the woman is the maintainer of the house. The washing represents the physical purifications on the outside, and the wine represents the physical purification of the inside. The blessings after washing of hands after the meal. Confirmation of forget feeling sorry for him or her who treated you like ish. You stayed past the expo date. Dating. Page 125. Blessed art thou, the King, the Most High. 4:12 p.m. on my alarm. Are you looking for complete devotion? King of the boundless universes, who has sanctified us by your commandments and has granted us your favor and give us El Gadush Shabbat as an inheritance. It is desirable to eat fish at every Sabbath meal. However, if it is harmful or disliked, you do not have to eat it because the Sabbath is meant for pleasure. You eat fish because they are and were the first sign of life. They were also spared in the flood. Once the Sabbath is, and many families take the shadow hours and day of the Sabbath as a time to study the scriptures. For younger children, games are made up for them to learn the scriptures. Questions and answers type games are fun and makes learning interesting. The Sabbath is a joyous day, not a solemn day. Things that you may do on the Sabbath. You may work and leave businesses open. If an emergency occurs, for instance, a child falling out of a window, a woman going into labor, or a person needing stitches, you must break the Sabbath. It would be a sin not to. You can watch shows or movies. You can debate, but not until anger or fight arises. You can listen to music. You can defend your family and your land. You can mend family clothing. You can dance. You can sign papers. You can shave. You can eat, drink. You can bathe or clean your house. You may work. You may go outside to play. You can go shopping. You can play board games, and other. You can propagate. You can cook by microwave or electricity, but not by kindled fire. The Sabbath is a festive day and is accompanied by the recitations of the prayer in the holy tablets. It is obligatory for the holy tablets to be read. This is how it was recorded, and this is how it will be. Thank you, Don. Definitely been a confirmation of his spirit. Chapter 2. The slaves begin all acts and thinking by using El Kalum, the all. Tablet 1. A mission to the planet Earth. Lo, it is important for you to receive this communication because of the misconceptions that has been embedded in you for thousands of years that must be eliminated. You must change your thought patterns. Listen to me, my children. Listen to me, my children. 10 children. Listen to me. Tanasia Monet, Louise Jones. Jaquan Ramel Najila Jones. Tashaya Monet Janelle Jones. Ming Shaheen Amon Ray Jones Hampton. Nikaba Monet Love Jones. Jazier Miguel Jones. Melchizedek. Supreme Charles Edward. Nevaeh Monet Purcell Nehemiah Dennison. Heaven Monet Linda Latoya. My baby Halo. Goddess Shavonda Dennison. Thank you. Accept only the facts, and it will lead you if you are worthy. We have had in our midst some great teachers such as Dus Ali of Nubia, teacher of these teachers. He followed the teachings of the Ansarullah of Sudan, Middle East, Africa. He was under the teachings of the great Muhammad Ahmad al-Mahdi of Sudan. Noble Drew Ali, teacher of the Moorish American Moabites, was taught by Dus Ali from 1866 to 1945 AD. Noble Drew Ali came from Cherokee, North Carolina, in America. Words of one of our great teachers, Noble Drew Ali, 1886 to 1929, warning for the young men. Beware, young men, young man. Confirmation message. This person's ego was too big to see anything clearly. It's a message to somebody. Listen to my say those under that come in. Check your energy too. Check yourself. Beware, young man, beware of all the allurements of wantonness, and let not the harlot tempt thee to excess in her delights. The madness of desire shall defeat its own pursuits. From the blindness of its rage, you shall rush up on self destruction. Therefore, give not up by thy heart to her sweet enticements, neither suffer thy soul to be enslaved by her enchanting delusions. Suffer thy soul to be enslaved by her enchanting delusions. The fountain of health, which must supply the stream of pleasure, shall quickly be dried up, and every spring of joy shall be exhausted. In the prime of thy life, old age shall overtake thee. The sun shall decline in the morning of thy days. But when virtue and modesty enlighten her charms, the luster of a beautiful woman is brighter than the stars of heaven, and the influence of her power is in vain to resist. The whiteness of her bosom transcends the lily. Her smile is more delicious than a garden of roses. The innocence of her eyes is like that of the turtle. Simplicity and truth dwells in her heart. The kisses of her mouth are sweeter than honey. The scents from the perfumes of Arabia breathe from her lips. Shut not your bosom to the tenderness of love. The purity of its flame shall enable thy heart and soften it to receive the fairest impressions. Social duties. When thou consider thy wants, when thou beholdest thy imperfections, acknowledge his goodness and remember his mercy. O child of Elohim Anunnaki, who honored thee with nobility as a member of humanity, who endows thee with speech and place thee in society to receive and confer reciprocal help and mutual obligations, protections from injuries, thy enjoyments of the comforts and the pleasures of life, all these thou owest to the assistance of others, and couldst not enjoy but in the hands of society. It is the Elohim and Anunnaki who endowed, page 127. Figure 29, Dus Ali, teacher of teachers. Page 129, figure 30, Noble Jew L.E., teacher of the Moorish American Moabites. You with speech, the ability to see and touch, for without these you have no perception of the greatness of the Most High El. Then place you on the planet Earth to give and to receive from others and award equal in assistance to each other. It is He, Anu, the Heavenly One, who is the head of the all, whom and gives protection and guidance from injuries. All these you owe to the assistance of others, and could not only not enjoy, but in the bosoms of the Most High, Elohim, Elohim, El, within the all, El Kahum. It is your duty as a child of the Elohim, therefore, to be a friend to humanity, as it is thy interest that humanity should be friendly to you. As the rose breath breatheth sweetness from its own nature, so the heart of the benevolent being produces agreeable works, because the inner work voice has concern for all and not just thyself. The benevolent being enjoys the order and tranquility of his own breast and rejoices in the happiness and prosperity of his fellow brethren, which means he too can prosper. The benevolent opens not his ears to slander, the faults and failings of men. Innersights, forgetful being, gives a pain to his heart, being a part of the all. Thus we are all one family, and if I hurt, then I hurt myself. If I hurt you, then I hurt myself. His desires is to do benevolence, and reaches out the occasions thereof, and reknowing the difficulty of another, he relieveth himself. From the depths of his mind he overstands and his desires the happiness of all humanity, and from the generosity of his heart he strives to promote it. So mote it be. Sure. Justice, the energy of today, the day of the frequent flyer. Justice, do as you would be done by. Justice will prevail. Be honest in one's dealings. Have you been treated unjustly? The peace of society depends on justice, the happiness of individuals, on the safe enjoyment of all their possessions. Keep the desire of thy heart, therefore, within the bounds of moderation. Let the hand of the justice lead it them aright. Let no temptation allure thee. 4:29 p.m. on my alarm. Are you looking for a compass? Let no temptation allure thee, nor any provocation excite you to lift up your hand from the hazard of his life. Defame him not in his character. Bear no false witnesses against him. Corrupt not his servant to cheat or forsake him. And the wife of his bosom, O tempt not to sin. It will be a grief to his heart, which thou cannot relieve, an injury to his life, which no amends can atone. In thy dealings with your brother, be impartial and fair, and do to them as you would they should do to you. Be faithful to thy trust, and deceive not the man who relies upon you. Be assured it is less evil in the sight of Allah to steal than to betray. Oppress not the poor, and defraud not of his wage and laboring man. When you sell it for gain, hear the whispering of your conscience, because that is the voice of the soul, and be satisfied with moderation, nor from the ignorance of thy buyer take any advantage. Pay the debt which thou owest, for he who gave thee credit relies upon thy honor, and to withhold from him his due is both mean and unjust. Finally, O son of society, examine your heart, call remembrance to thy aid, and if any of these things thou hast transgressed, make a speedy reparation today to the utmost of thy power. One should be a multi-trillionaire. I'm also under Ceci Say. Clarity. Happy is the man who has sown in his breast the seed of benevolence. The produce thereof shall be mercy and love. From page 129, going to page 130. From the fountains of his heart shall rise rivers of goodness, and the streams shall overflow for the benefit of all humanity. He assists the poor in their trouble. He rejoices in furthering the prosperity of all men. He censures not his neighbors. He believes not the character assassinations of envy and malevolence, neither repeats he their slanders. He forgives the injuries of men. He wipes them from his remembrance. Revenge and malice have no place in his heart, for evil has returned not evil. He hateth not even his enemies, but requiteth their injustice with a friendly admonition. The griefs and anxiety of men excite his compassion. He endeavors to alleviate the weight of their misfortunes, and the pleasure of success rewardeth his labor. He calmeth the fury. He heals the quarrels of angry men, and preventeth the mischiefs of the strife and animosity. He promotes in his neighborhood peace and goodwill, and his name is repeated with praise and benediction. It's Mother's Day. Gratitude. Gratitude. As the branches of the tree return their sap to the root, from whence it arose, as a river pours its streams to the sea, whence the spring was supplied, so the heart of grateful man delighteth in returning a benefit received. He acknowledges his obligations with cheerfulness, looketh on his benefactors with love and esteem, and if to return it to be not in his power, he nourishes the memory of it in his breast with kindness. He forgetteth it not for all the days of his life. The heart of the grateful man is like the clouds of heaven, which drops upon the earth fruits, herbage, and flowers. But the heart of the ungrateful is like a desert of sand, which swallows with greediness the showers that fall and buries them in its bosom, and produceth nothing. Envy not thy benefactor, neither strive to conceal the benefit he has conferred. For though to oblige is better than to be the humility that touches the heart, and is admirable on the sight both of Allah and man. But receive not a favor from the hand of the proud, to the selfish and avaricious have no obligation. The vanity of pride shall expose thee to shame. The greediness of avarice shall never be satisfied. Sincerity. Sincerity. Clean my teeth and my tongue and my windpipe. Sincerity. Enamored with the beauty of the truth and facts, and has fixed thy heart on the simplicity of her charms. Hold fast the unto her, fidelity unto her, and forsake her not. The consistency of the virtue shall crown thee with honor. The tongue of the sincere is rooted in the heart. Hypocrisy and deceit have no place in his words. He blemished at falsehood and is founded, but is speaking the truth. He has a steady eye. The tongue of the sincere is rooted in the heart. Hypocrisy and deceit have no place in his words. He blushes at falsehood and is founded, but in speaking the truth, he has a steady eye. He supporteth as a man the dignity of his character. To the arts of hypocrisy he stormeth to stoop. He is consistent with himself as an honest being. He is never embarrassed. He has courage enough to always speak the truth, and he is never afraid. He is far above the meanness of dissimulation. The words of his mouth are thoughts of his heart, yet with prudence and caution he opens his lips. He studies what is right and speaketh with discretion. He advises with friendship. He reproves with freedom, and whatsoever he promises shall surely be. Page 131. Performed. But the heart of the hypocrite is hid in his breast. He maketh his words and his semblance of truth, while the business of his life is only to deceive. He laugheth in sorrow, he weepeth in joy, and the words of his mouth have no interpretation. 30 minutes to the stream. Then I'll take a short break. Come back on all the way up to 189. I understand the assignment. He laughed in sorrow, he weeps in joy, and the words of his mouth have no interpretation. He works in the dark as a mole who fancied he is safe, but he blunteth into the light and is betrayed and exposed with dirt of his head. He passed his days in perpetual constraints. His tongue and his heart are forever at variance. He labors for the character of a righteous man and hugs himself in the thoughts of his cunningness. O fool, the pains which thou takest to hide what thou art are more than would make thee what thou wouldst seem. And the children of right wisdom shall mock at thy cunning, when in the midst of the security they disguise is stripped off, and the figure of derision shall point you to scorn. Know thyself. 4:43 p.m. on my alarm. Memorize a love poem. Are you looking for a romantic adventure? Know thyself. Weak and ignorant as thou art, O man, humble as thou oughtest to be, O child of the dust of the ground, wouldst thou rise your thoughts to infinite wisdom? Wouldst thou see omnipotence displayed before thee? Contemplate thine frame. Fearfully and wonderfully art thou made. Praise therefore thy creator, with awe, and rejoice before him with reverence. Wherefore all creatures art thou only erect, but that thou shouldest behold his works. As the laws of nature, you are responsible for your brother's life as well as your own, raised above to give reverence to those who added in your creation, wherefore is consciousness reposed on thee alone, and whence it is derived to be. It is not in flesh to think, for it is only clay. It is not in bones to reason, for they are but the skeleton of the clay. I want to share this too. Know thyself. It is not in flesh to think. Let's see, rise above to give reverence to those who added into your creation. Wherefore is consciousness reposed on thee alone, and whence it is derived to be. It is not in flesh to think, for it is only clarity, clay. It is not in bones to reason, for they are but the skeleton of the clay. The lion knoweth not that worms shall eat him. The ox perceiveth not that he is fed for slaughter. Something is added to thee, unlike to what thou seest. Something informs thy clay body that it was created. Object of your senses. Behold, what is it? The body remaineth perfect after it is fled. Therefore, it is no part of it. It is immaterial as you know it to be. Therefore, it is eternal. It is free to act. Therefore, it is accountable for its actions, not the body. Knows the ass the use of food, because his teeth mows down the herbage. Or standeth the crocodile erect, although his backbone is as straight as thine. Allah formed thee as he formed these. After them all were thou created. Take time to detox. Confirmation. Take it how it resonates. After them all were thou created. Superiority and command were given these over all, and of his own breath did he communicate to these the principles of knowledge. Know thyself and the pride of his creation, the line uniting divinity and matter. Behold a part of Allah himself within thee. Remember thine own dignity, nor dare descend to evil or to meanness. Who planted the terror in the tail of the serpent? Who clothed the neck of the horse with thunder? Even he who has instructed thee to crush the one under thine, and to tame the other to thy purpose, the breath of heaven. Vaunt not thy body, because it was first formed, nor of thy brain, because therein thy soul resideth. Is not the master of the house more honorable than its walls? The ground must be prepared before the corn may be planted. The potter must build his furnace before he can make his proclaimed porcelain. As the breath of heaven says unto the waters of the deep, this very This way shall thy billow rolls, and no other, thus high and no higher than they rise their fury, so let thy spirit, O man, insinuate and direct thy flesh, so let it repress its wilderness. Thy body is as the globe of the earth, to thy bones, the pillars that sustain it on its basis. As the ocean gives rise to spring, whose water returns again into its bosom through the rivers, so runneth thy life from thy outwards, and so runneth it into its place again. Do not both retain their course forever. Behold, the same Allah ordained them. Is not thy nose the channel to perform, thy mouth the path to delicacies? Are not thine eyes the sentinels that are on watch? Yet how often that are on watch? Yet how often are they unable to distinguish truth from error? Keep thy soul in moderation. Teach thy spirit to be attentive to its good. So shall these and its ministers be always to the conveyance of truth. Thine hand is not a miracle. It is in the creation aught like unto it. Wherefore it is given to thee, but that you might stretch it out to the assistance of your brother. Why of all things living are they alone made capable of blushing? The world shall read thy shame upon thy face, therefore do nothing shameful. Fear and dismay, whose robes your countenance of its woody splendor, avoid guilt, and thou shalt know that fear is beneath thee, and that dismay is unnamely. Wherefore to thee alone speaks shadow in the vision of the pillar. Reverence them, for know that dreams are from on high. Elohim, Elohim, El. Thou man alone canst speak. Wonder at their glorious prerogative, and pay to him who gave to thee a rational and welcome praise, teaching your children wisdom, instructing the offspring of thy loins in pity, piety, piety. The instability of man. Inconsistency is powerful in the heart of man. Intemperance swayeth in it, whither it will. Despair engrosses much of it, and fear proclaimeth, Behold, I will sit unrivaled therein. But vanity is beyond them. Weep not therefore at the calamities of human states, rather laugh at its follies. In the hands of the one addicted to vanity, life then is but the shadow of a dream. The hero, the most renowned of human character, what is he but the bubble of his weakness? The public is unstable and ungrateful. Why should the man of wisdom endanger himself for fools? The man who neglected his present concerns to revolve how he would behave when greater feedeth himself with wind, while his bread is eaten by another. Act as becometh thee in thy present station, and in more exalted ones thy face shall not be ashamed. What bindeth the eye, or what hideth the heart of a man from himself like vanity? Lo, when thou seest not thyself, then others. Page 133. Discover thee most plainly. The heart of the vain is troubled while it seemeth content. His cares are greater than his pleasures. His solitude cannot rest his bones. The grave is not deep enough to hide it. He extended his thoughts beyond his being. He bespeaketh praise, to be paid when he is gone. But whosoever promiseth deceiveth him. As the man who engages his wife to remain in widowhood, that she disturbs not his soul, so is he who expecteth that his praise shall reach his ears beneath the earth, or cherish his heart in its shroud. Do well whilst thou live, but regard not what is said of it. Content thyself with deserving praise, and thy posterity shall rejoice in hearing it. As the butterfly who sees not his own colors, as the jasmine which feels not the scent it casts around it, so is the man who appears gay and bids others to take note of it. To what purpose, says he, is my vesture of gold? To what end are my tables filled with dainties? If no eye gaze upon them, if the world knows it not. Give thy raiment to the naked, and thy food into the hunger, so shalt thou be praised, and feel that thou deservest. Why bestowest thou in every man the flattery of unmeaning words? Thou knowest when return thee, thou regardest it not. He knows the lie unto thee, yet he knows you will thank him for it. Speak in sincerity, and thou wilt hear with instruction. The vain delighteth to speak to himself, but he sees not that others like not to hear him. If he has done anything worth praise, if he possesses that which is worthy of admiration, his joy is to proclaim it. His pride to hear is reported. The desire of such a man defeateth itself. Men say not, behold, he has done it, or see, he possesses it. But mark how proud he is of it. The heart of man cannot attend at once to too many things. He who fixes his soul on